Have you ever felt incredibly motivated on a Monday, only to lose that motivation by Wednesday? Maybe you've done it with exercise. Maybe you've done it with studying. Maybe you've done it with a business idea or a personal goal. You start with excitement, you watch motivational videos, you make a plan, you promise yourself that this time will be different, and for a few days, it is. You wake up early, you work hard, you feel unstoppable, but then something happens. You don't feel like doing it anymore, and suddenly the plan falls apart. The workout gets skipped, the book remains unread, the project stays unfinished, the dream gets postponed, again and again and again. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. In fact, this is one of the biggest reasons why most people never reach their full potential. They're relying on motivation, and motivation is one of the most unreliable forces in the world. Today, we're going to talk about something far more powerful, something that successful people depend on every single day: discipline. Because motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. And if there's one skill that can completely transform your life, it's the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. Let's begin. Imagine two people. Both have the same goal. Both want to get fit. Both join a gym. The first person goes whenever they feel motivated. The second person goes because it's part of their routine. At first, they look the same, but after a few months, something interesting happens. The motivated person starts missing days, then weeks, then quits entirely. The disciplined person keeps showing up, not because they always want to, but because they've trained themselves to act regardless of how they feel. And that's the difference. Discipline is not about feeling inspired. It's about taking action despite your feelings. One of the biggest lies people believe is this: I'll do it when I feel ready. The problem is, you may never feel ready. Successful people don't wait for perfect conditions. They create progress under imperfect conditions. Think about that. Most people wait for motivation. Highly successful people create systems. They understand something important. Feelings change. Systems remain. If you depend on emotions, your actions become inconsistent. If you depend on systems, your actions become predictable. And predictable actions create predictable results. Let's talk about why discipline is so difficult. Your brain is designed to conserve energy. It wants comfort. It wants pleasure. It wants the easiest path possible. That's why scrolling social media feels easier than reading a book. That's why watching television feels easier than learning a skill. That's why sleeping feels easier than waking up early. Your brain constantly seeks immediate rewards, but success usually requires delayed rewards, and that's where discipline enters the picture. Discipline is the ability to choose what you want most over what you want right now. Read that again. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want right now. In the moment, staying in bed feels good, but becoming stronger feels better. In the moment, wasting time feels easy, but achieving your goals feels better. In the moment, quitting feels comfortable, but success feels better. Discipline helps you make decisions based on your future rather than your current mood. Now, here's something interesting. Many people think discipline creates restriction, but the truth is exactly the opposite. Discipline creates freedom. Think about money. If you're disciplined with money, you gain financial freedom. Think about health. If you're disciplined with exercise and nutrition, you gain physical freedom. Think about learning. If you're disciplined with education, you gain career freedom. Every area of freedom is built on a foundation of discipline. Without discipline, life becomes reactive. With discipline, life becomes intentional. Let's imagine a pilot flying an airplane. The pilot doesn't decide where to go based on feelings. The pilot follows a flight plan, even when weather changes, even when conditions become difficult. The destination remains the same. Your life should work the same way. Your goals should not change every time your emotions change. Because emotions are temporary, purpose is permanent. One of the greatest lessons successful people understand is this: you don't have to feel motivated to take action. In fact, action often creates motivation. Most people have it backwards. They think motivation comes first, then action. But often it's the opposite. You start moving, you start working, you start creating momentum, and then motivation appears. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for a fire to start before gathering wood. Action comes first, motivation follows. Let's talk about excuses. Everyone has them. I'm too tired. I'm too busy. I'll start tomorrow. I don't have enough time. The problem isn't that excuses exist. The problem is believing them. Successful people hear the same excuses in their minds. The difference is they don't obey them. They act anyway. They work anyway. They continue anyway. Because they understand something powerful. Every excuse makes you weaker. Every disciplined action makes you stronger. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your confidence decreases. And confidence is built through evidence. Not positive thinking, not affirmations, evidence. When you repeatedly prove to yourself that you'll follow through, you begin trusting yourself, and self-trust is one of the most valuable forms of confidence. Let's talk about consistency. People often underestimate its power. They look for dramatic changes, massive breakthroughs, life-changing moments. But success is usually much quieter. It's showing up every day, doing the work every day, making progress every day, even when nobody notices, even when results are slow. Imagine improving by just 1% every day. It seems insignificant. But over time, those improvements compound. Just like money compounds through interest. Small disciplined actions compound through consistency. That's why discipline beats talent. Talent without discipline eventually fades. Discipline without talent often creates greatness. History is filled with ordinary people who achieved extraordinary things because they were willing to stay consistent. Not for a week, not for a month, but for years. And that's what most people are unwilling to do. They underestimate how much patience success requires. They want immediate results, immediate rewards, immediate recognition. But meaningful success rarely happens quickly. It happens gradually, one disciplined day at a time. Now here's a question. What would happen if you became just slightly more disciplined starting today? What would happen if you exercised for 20 minutes each day? What would happen if you read 10 pages every day? What would happen if you spent 1 hour learning a valuable skill? One day wouldn't change much. 1 week might not either. But 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? The results would be extraordinary. Your future is hidden inside your daily habits. That's why discipline matters so much. It's not about what you do once. It's about what you do repeatedly. Let's make this practical. How do you actually build discipline? First, stop relying on motivation. Create routines instead. Second, make commitments smaller. People fail because they try to do too much. Start small. Build consistency. Then increase gradually. Third, remove distractions. Success becomes easier when temptation becomes harder. Fourth, focus on the process, not the outcome. Fifth, keep promises to yourself, no matter how small. Because every promise kept strengthens your identity, and identity drives behavior. Eventually, discipline stops feeling like discipline. It becomes part of who you are. You become the person who shows up, the person who follows through, the person who finishes what they start, and that's when life begins changing dramatically. As we come to the end of this episode, remember this. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be extraordinary. You don't need endless motivation. You simply need to keep moving forward, one day at a time, one decision at a time, one disciplined action at a time. Because the life you want is built through actions most people are unwilling to repeat consistently. And that's exactly why discipline is so powerful. Thank you for listening to Podcast FM Radio. Before you go, if this episode inspired you, make sure to follow the channel, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and leave a comment about one area of your life where you want to become more disciplined. Your journey starts with a single decision, and that decision can be made today. Remember, motivation gets you started. Discipline takes you where you want to go. See you in the next episode.